What's going on, guys? Thank you for coming back for another episode. I appreciate you tuning in. Sorry that I didn't make a video last week. Real busy with life and work and everything that's going on, but it was all for a good reason. We had some stuff going on. I was actually sick. I had a head cold going on, but we had some good stuff going on, getting prepared for my wife's in-home daycare that will be opening up in August. So we're really excited about that. Also, I was doing a lot of tournament prep, trying to get ready for the Bass Lunkers 2-man open at Lake Fannie. This video is going to be talking about the tournament, what happened. We're going to talk about what rigs we used and what went on at the tournament. So stay tuned and we will be right back. All right, guys. Basically, what our club does is 2 tournaments a year during the season are open tournaments. So, like last year, we did 2-man open tournaments. And this year, we're doing, obviously the 2-man open that just happened this past weekend. And then in September, we are doing a solo open. So, it's going to be solo anglers, and anybody can come fish the tournament. So you do not have to be a paid member to fish the opens if they want to come pay the entry fee and fish and see if they can do well. And that's a good way for us to gain members. We've gained a lot of members that way, and it's a really fun format, especially the 2-man open. I really enjoy doing that because usually when I do a 2-man open, I do it with my old man. I do it with my dad, and obviously he's the greatest fishing partner I've ever had my whole life. He taught me everything that I knew, and then I just took what he taught me and branched out from there. Anyway, so Lake Fannie. Me and my dad actually fished a 2-man open there last year at the beginning of the year, and we really liked the lake. It was a little bit different conditions, especially for my dad, because me fishing in some tournaments, the last couple years, I've learned to fish in cold weather. It was 48 degrees last year when we fished at Lake Fannie, and me and my dad did really well. We had a limit pretty early in the day. We caught a lot of fish. Nothing big, but we did end up, I think we placed 5th in that one, which was a good day. I mean, that's a great day in my books, but we had a really good time. Like, obviously I love fishing with my dad. It's so peaceful because we click. I mean, obviously I grew up fishing with him, so it just works. But this year was a little bit different conditions. Obviously we're in June, so hot weather. The spawn's already done. You've got post spawn females. They're already kind of cruising out deep. You do have a lot of buck bass up shallow still, but most of your bigger bass right now have kind of moved out, and they're kind of recouping from the spawn. So they're feeding out in deeper water, and they're fattening back up. But it's really a wonderful time of year to fish, and like I said, completely opposite from last year because it was 48 degrees. So, but anyway, tournament morning, me and my dad got ready. We were ready the day before. We got everything. We fished out of his John boat. I'm so sorry that I couldn't film the whole day. So in my bass boat, how I'm able to film, and please excuse my voice, I'm still kind of getting over this, whatever it was that went through me. But in my bass boat, obviously you guys saw the video, I installed a charging port. So it's really easy for me to film off my phone, being that that's the only camera that I have currently. It makes it easy to film because I can just leave my phone plugged in all day charging. So I don't have to worry about battery power. But in my dad's John boat, I don't have any USB ports or anything like that. I currently don't have any decent battery packs, where I can, or what do you call those, power banks or whatever you call it, to plug my phone in and charge it. And again, my phone is my only source of camera, but it is also what I use to submit my fish to the Angler app, which, side note, I am not sponsored by the Angler app. We use the Angler app in our club. I love the Angler app. It works really, really well. It's easy to use. and it's just a joy using it. So shout out to the Angler app. So far this season, it has been a joy to use. So appreciate you, Angler. But anyway, so I don't really have a way to charge my phone other than my bass boat right now. So I'm working on that. I'm working on getting some GoPros, hopefully, eventually. Uh, and also getting some better ways to charge my phone without having to be in my bass boat with my charging ports that I installed. So I'm figuring all that out. What I would really like to do is be able to just get an older GoPro that has multiple batteries and one of the little chargers that charge I think it's 3 batteries at once. So then I can basically in my bass boat, I'll be able to have the GoPro on my chest, have my phone in the back, and be charging batteries while I'm using the camera, and then just cycle through batteries throughout the day, and obviously have my phone filming the back. So I'll get some better footage. But for this tournament, basically what I ended up having to do was when me and my dad caught fish, I made sure I took pictures of us with our fish. I made sure that I took some short little, videos of us releasing fish. And that's what I was able to get. So again, sorry I didn't get to film the whole day. I would have loved to have caught the whole day on camera because it was such a blast. We had such a good time, a lot of laughs, a lot of chatting, and it was awesome. But anyway, so we started our day. I had actually, I guess you call it pre-fishing. I had pre-fished the weekend prior by fishing a local little club that gets together on Sunday afternoons and does a big bass tournament. And basically, anybody can come and fish. It's $20 per person, and whoever gets the biggest bass in that tournament wins all the money. And it's a really really cool little thing. A bunch of really great guys in that little group of anglers. And so I fished a couple of those, but they actually had a big bass tournament at Fannie, and I'm like, oh man, what an opportunity! So me and my buddy Dustin got together and went and fished that tournament that Sunday evening. And I kind of used that as my pre-fishing, kind of scout out some spots, see what I liked, see kind of where the fish were, what stage they were in. And so that gave me a great idea of what I was looking at for tournament day. So fished that. We didn't get big bass, but we did catch a lot of fish. We found good fish in the area. So that's a good thing. And I took that knowledge that I had learned the weekend before and took that into the tournament with me and my dad. And so we started on a little area. Here's a little view of what it was. It was literally just a point of pads that stuck out just a little bit farther than the rest of the other pads that were in that area. And there was a big isolated patch of pads. We started there, weren't really getting any bites. I think it was lines in at 6:30, so we started fishing at 6:30. We saw some fish moving around. Nothing was really biting. So my game plan was to just work our way around and work the outer edges of the pads because that's where I'd had all my bites the weekend before was on those deeper pads. And so my goal was just let's cover water. Let's cover a lot of pads. Let's make sure we fish thoroughly. Let's make sure that we hit every little pocket, every little hole in those pads until we either find an area with a lot of fish in it or we just, run across a random fish here and there, which ended up being the case. So we started, I think I was throwing a speed worm, and my dad was throwing a small ribbon tail, just Texas rigs. We just kept it simple. We tried a little top water first thing, didn't pan out. Nothing was really busting on top. So we kind of gave that up quick and went to just dragon worms. And so we started hitting cover, and it wasn't long, maybe 15 minutes in, I caught the first fish. Here's a picture of that fish. It was a decent fish. I think it was 14 something, but it was a good scoreable fish. And so I knew we were onto something there. And then it wasn't 2 minutes later, my dad hooks into one, and it was a little bit bigger. I think it was 15 and a half or something like that. So better fish. And so that's when I kind of knew, okay, yeah, we just need to cover water. We need to hit every piece of cover that we can. We need to focus on a little bit deeper cover that's out from the bank. We need to focus on anywhere between 4 and 7 feet of water. That's what I figured. So that's what we stayed on. And we were just cruising and covering water and fishing pads. And we had a few little bites after that, nothing big. Here's one of the small ones that I had caught and submitted. It was, I mean, I think it was 11 3/4 inches or something like that. It was just barely a scoreable. So we moved along, didn't really find anything for a little bit, but then probably 15 to 20 minutes later, my dad hooks into a really, really nice fish. It was probably 2.5 pounds, maybe 3 pounds. Um, really healthy fish. I think it was somewhere around 19 inches, 19 and a half inches, something like that. That's when I knew, because he had switched over to a 10-inch June bug ribbon tail worm on a 1/4 ounce Texas rig. And so I said, okay, that's going to be the deal. This is the time of year. They do love a 10-inch ribbon tail. So he was throwing June bug, and I decided to throw on a watermelon red. This is the Rippin' Lips Lures watermelon red. This is called the 5-inch BT ribbon tail, but it's technically a 10-inch worm. He goes off of the mold size. So I'm sorry, this is the 7-inch BT ribbon tail. He was fishing June bug. I was fishing the watermelon red. And it wasn't very long. I think he had another bite, caught another decent fish. And then I caught a really, really nice fish. I think it was 19 3/4 inches long. And by that time, obviously, we had already had a limit, but we just were cruising, fishing, and upgrading. And so it really made for an enjoyable tournament. We weren't stressed about anything. We weren't having to try to find fish to be able to complete a limit. We already had an okay limit. I think we were in first place at that time. I think we had 85 inches or something like that between the two bigger fish me and my dad caught and the other, nicer fish and a couple small ones. We kept moving along, kept covering water. And again, the 10-inch ribbon tail was the way to go. They were hammering it. It wasn't a soft bite or anything. That when they were going to eat it, they ate it. It was a very, very active bite. And there wasn't a ton of fish in one area. We just had to keep moving and run across a fish that was, randomly sitting in the pads. But the fish we were catching were quality. So we worked our way around the pads, and then we kind of hit a lull. We didn't really catch much, so we decided to cycle back through and hit everything that we had hit before. And my idea was, I'll hit the pockets with a 10-inch ribbon tail, and as we're moving along, if I see anything, I'll chunk a spinnerbait at it, because you guys know how much I love a Strike King spinnerbait. And so we were just covering water. And I think we had caught a couple small fish that really didn't help us any. I looked at the score tracker, and Dale, he was 2 inches behind us. I know Dale very well. He is a phenomenal angler, and 2 inches is nothing. That man knows how to fish, and usually he catches really good fish. He always seems to catch an upgrade fish last minute of the day. So I told my dad, I said, we have got to catch at least one more good fish and upgrade our smallest fish. That way we have a good lead against everybody. Dale had already caught a monster bass. It was like 23 1/4 inches. I think it was somewhere around between 7 and 8 pounds. It was a really, really good fish. He had caught that earlier in the morning. And so I knew I needed an upgrade. Well, it wasn't 10 minutes later. I decided to just start chunking that Strike King spinnerbait. I'll put up a picture of the spinnerbait. It's one of the KVD Strike King spinnerbaits. Love the KVD Strike King spinnerbaits. They're awesome. They last a long time. They got great hooks on them, and I just love the thump of the blade. Those willow leaf blades just thump like no other willow leaf. But anyway, I decided to start covering water with that, and then this happened. I cast it into a little pocket in the pads, and this fish hammered it. I thought that I was going to lose it because it wrapped me around a pad. And so I just kept pressure on it. Dad trolled us over there to it. The fish jumped loose. Thank God it has a good hook on it. He stayed pinned, and I was able to get that fish in the boat. It was 20 inches, which obviously didn't beat big bass, but that jumped our bag up quite a bit. And we ended the day with 91 and a quarter inches, which I think that's actually the biggest bag that I've had since I started fishing the small vessel tournaments. I don't think I have past 90 inches. I think my biggest bag before this was like 80, 87, 88 inches, something like that. So to surpass 90 inches in a bag of fish for the day was awesome. I think it put us like 8.5 inches ahead. I didn't do the math. I'll do the math, but it put us quite a ways ahead of everybody on our total limit for the day. And so we were excited. We were still on the Angler app. We were still in first place. So at that point, we still had an hour and a half or so left in the day. And so I just told Dad, let's cover water and just enjoy the rest of the day. If we upgrade our smallest fish, which I think was like 15 and a half inches, um, if we happen to upgrade that fish, that's awesome. If not, we've got a good lead. We've got a great bag. We can't be disappointed with the day because we had some awesome fishing. We caught a lot of fish. So either way, we were happy with it. But we worked our way back towards the boat landing uh, and weren't really getting any bites. And so I picked up a swim jig. I just decided to pick up a little black and blue swim jig. It had a I can't remember the color. I'll have to put up the color here. But it was a Guggen Crack and Crawl as a trailer on the back. And I was just barely retrieving that thing and shaking it along the bottom. I didn't have it high in the water column. I wasn't reeling it fast. I was just keeping it off the bottom. And I caught like 4 fish like that. I mean, it didn't take me very long. Now they were small fish. So if it would have been one of those days where we were struggling and needed a limit, that swim jig would have came in clutch for us because I think it was probably the last 30 minutes of the day. I caught 4 more fish that would have scored, but they didn't help us any, but they were still fun to catch. I think my dad caught 1 or 2 small ones as well on a small ribbon tailworm, a little 5.5 inch or 7 inch ribbon tailworm. I can't remember what size it was, but but yeah, guys, just a phenomenal day. I really, really needed that tournament. It was awesome. I enjoyed fishing with my dad. Um, Dale did a great job. Him and his daughter fished, and they came in second place. They caught the big bass. So, congratulations on the big bass, Dale. That was an awesome fish. I also heard a story that his daughter hooked like a 26-inch mudfish and got it in the boat. But anyway, I had a blast. My dad had a blast. We really enjoyed the day, and it was great to get a win. So I appreciate everybody that showed up to the tournament. We didn't have a huge turnout, but it was a pretty good turnout, and it was a great day. The weather was great. It was hot, but it wasn't that bad. We had a breeze. So, but yeah, guys, and it just goes to show a lot of times just go old school. I mean, you got guys this day and time, they're using live scope, they're tossing little minnows, and they're fishing brush piles out in 30 feet of water, with a bait this long. They're staring at the fish, trying to get them to bite. And, I'm not saying that's not fun, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But sometimes it does pay off to just go old school and throw a Texas rig and get some big bites. So I think my setup, I had braid because I was fishing into the pad. So I had 50-pound braid. I had a heavy rod. I had the 13 Fishing Origin F1 reel, so 8:1 gear ratio reel. And I had a 3/16 ounce tungsten pegged down to a 5/0 Laser Shark Pro Series offset round bend worm hook. So very basic setup, and I was just covering water, tossing this into little little pockets in the pads, And of course, my dad, he was doing the same thing. I think he had a quarter ounce. My dad uses lead, so he had a quarter ounce lead weight on there, a little gamakatsu hook, and he was throwing the 10-inch ribbon tail. I think it was the Zoom Old Monster, and it was the June bug color. So we just went old school. And then, of course, I caught that bigger fish later on in the day on the good old Strike King spinnerbait. I was throwing that on I believe it was a medium heavy Arc Catalyzer Series rod. I had the Cast King Zephyr reel. I usually use the Sharky 3 with the 20-pound fluorocarbon. I actually had, I believe it was 15-pound fluorocarbon on that rod, and I was just throwing that half-ounce Strike King spinnerbait. Again, I can't remember the color of it, but I'll make sure I post a picture of it. And it was just a great day of fishing. We did really, really well, and it was really, really nice to win one with my dad. So really excited for the next tournament coming up in September. We are taking a break for July and August for the hottest part of the summer, which is actually kind of a blessing because this coming Tuesday, I am going in for hernia surgery. Not really excited about it, but at the same time, I'm ready to get this thing gone, get it fixed, and get back to life. So I do have that. So keep me in your prayers. Keep my wife in your prayers while we're doing all that. And I'll be back in September to fish, so that gives me plenty of time to heal up. And then we are going to be doing an open tournament, the solo open at Tenorock, which if you guys haven't, been to Tenorock, it's a cool place. So it's an old sand mine, and there is a ton of lakes in there, and it's a management area now, and but it's great fishing in there. Really, really beautiful. It's very kind of secluded, and a lot of beautiful water, a lot of beautiful forest and stuff out there. But there is some good fish. So in September we'll be hitting up Tenorock. Hopefully I can do pretty good there. We'll see. I'll be doing some pre-fishing there as well. Hopefully after the surgery, after I get all healed up from that, I'll be going out there and trying to do some pre-fishing. So, but guys, I appreciate you watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please make sure that if you are not a subscriber, you subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. I'm trying to grow this channel. And make sure that you like the video, and also make sure that you follow my Facebook, Jonathan Gandy. I have a lot of my fishing stuff is posted on there. We have a Bass Lunkers public group on there as well, but I'm trying to post more stuff on Facebook as well. And then I also have a TikTok and I have an Instagram. So make sure you look up Gandy's Tackle Talk on all the social medias. Follow me on there, and you can see all my new stuff. We also are going to be doing a giveaway. I've told you guys about it before. As soon as I hit 200 subscribers, we are going to be doing a awesome bait package. And I'm working with some other people. I'm going to be talking to some guys about helping me put together a really, really great soft plastic package. There might be some crankbaits and stuff in there as well. And I'm also thinking about, if I can, making a custom glide bait to throw into the package as well. So looking forward to that. I think we have 165 subscribers. I'm pretty sure we're up to 165. So we're getting there slowly but surely. But guys, I really appreciate you watching. It was great fishing a tournament with my dad. So thank you, Dad, for going and fishing that tournament with me. I wouldn't take anything else for it. It was an awesome time. And guys, I'll see you on the next one. Love y'all.